He thought he was doing everything right after 60, but the truth was quietly stealing his strength, one day at a time. It wasn't his diet or age, it was a single habit millions of seniors still trust, without knowing the damage it's causing. Doctors rarely mention it, but once you see it, you'll never look at your mornings the same again. It started with something Harold never even noticed. The way he'd sit down a little longer after breakfast. The way the mail stayed on the table a little later. The way his shoes, once tied tight before the sun came up, now sat untouched until almost noon. It's just part of getting older, people told him. Even the doctor said it with a soft smile and a pat on the knee. Perfectly normal for a man your age. Harold nodded. But in his gut, something felt off. It wasn't the pain that worried him. He'd dealt with sore knees and stiff mornings before. No, this was different. This was something quieter. Like a light going out one flicker at a time. And then one morning something happened. He dropped a coffee mug. Not from clumsiness, but because his hand just gave out. No warning. No ache. Just a slow collapse, like his strength had quietly packed its bags and left sometime during the night. He didn't tell anyone. What could he say? That holding a fork felt heavier than it used to? That his legs trembled while brushing his teeth? It sounded ridiculous, even to him. But deep down, Harold felt something more chilling than weakness. He felt invisible. If this already hits home, give this video a like. It helps others find it too. He started canceling outings with friends. He avoided the mirror. The man who used to fix the neighbor's mailbox in the rain now struggled to lift a grocery bag. And still, no one noticed. In a world full of loud emergencies, quiet decline gets ignored. But inside that silence, Harold was losing something far worse than muscle. He was losing his spark. And no one had warned him that sometimes the things we think are just aging are actually not. They're patterns, habits, reactions that go unquestioned for years. He wanted answers, but didn't know what to ask. So he did what most people do. He waited for a sign, waited for it to stop, waited for someone to say, "Hey, this isn't normal." And one day, someone did. But by then, Harold had already spent years adapting to something that had no right to stay in his life. And that's what made it so dangerous. They say time changes everything. But sometimes it's not time that changes us, it's what we stop noticing. Harold used to be the guy who checked in on others. He'd call neighbors just to ask if their porch light was still flickering. He noticed the little things, until the little things started slipping past him too. At first it was the garden. The soil dried out. Weeds crept in. He told himself the heat was too much. That it was just one season. Then it was his morning walks. He didn't stop entirely, just delayed them. 10 minutes, then 30, then maybe tomorrow. And one day he realized, he hadn't laced up his walking shoes in 2 weeks. The shoes were still sitting there. Still tied. Like they were waiting for him to come back. But something in Harold had gone quiet. His daughter Jenna noticed too. She came by with her 2 boys and said, "Dad, you look tired." He smiled. What? Just didn't sleep well. That was easier than explaining what it felt like to feel heavy all the time. Not sleepy, just heavier. As if even his bones were second-guessing him. She left a bag of groceries on the counter. He thanked her. But when she was gone, he just stared at the bag, wondering if his back would give out lifting it. Comment if you've ever felt this kind of silence too. Later that week, something strange happened. A neighbor knocked on the door to check in. Said they noticed the curtains hadn't opened in days. That the paper hadn't been picked up. Harold laughed it off. Guess I've just been a little lazy. But the truth is, he couldn't remember the last time he truly felt awake. Present. Light on his feet. And this wasn't sadness. It wasn't illness. It was like being slowly erased. One day, one effort, 1 ounce of strength at a time. The TV played. The clock ticked. But Harold was somewhere else. In his head, he replayed old memories, fixing a broken chair with one hand while balancing a phone call in the other, tossing grandkids in the air like they weighed nothing, climbing ladders, dancing at weddings, staying up past midnight. Now, he barely finished lunch without needing to sit back and breathe. And yet, no one had ever told him that this could be something other than aging. It was easier to chalk it up to getting older. Easier for everyone, even Harold. But deep down he began to wonder, was something else doing this to him? Something he let into his life without a second thought? Something he still did every single day? That question stuck with him like a shadow. Because once it planted itself in his mind, he couldn't unfeel it. It happened on a Tuesday morning. The kind that felt like every other, gray sky, creaky knees, and toast Harold forgot in the toaster. The nurse arrived around 9. Her name was Clara. Quiet, kind eyes. Not the kind to rush or lecture. She didn't ask 100 questions. Just sat beside Harold at the kitchen table, looked around, and gently said, "Tell me about your day." Harold chuckled. "Nothing too exciting. I wake up, watch a little news, sit for a bit, take my pills. Then I sort of just sit some more." He paused, embarrassed by how small the routine sounded when spoken out loud. Clara nodded. Then she looked at him, not with judgment, but with something closer to recognition, and asked softly, "Has anyone ever told you this might be part of the problem?" Harold blinked. "What? The pills?" She shook her head. "Not those. The sitting." And just like that, something shifted in the room. It wasn't a dramatic diagnosis. No scary test results. Just a quiet sentence that hung in the air, demanding to be heard. "You're still doing something most folks your age are told is safe," she said. "But what no one tells you is that it slowly takes more than it gives." Clara opened her notebook, drew a simple line graph, energy on one side, time on the other. "You're not sick," she said. "You're sedentary." Two words Harold had never put together before. Not lazy, not tired, just still. Too still. For too long. Sitting had become his default. Morning? Sit. Breakfast? Sit. Phone calls, lunch, the afternoon stretch? All in the same chair by the window. That chair. The one with the perfect view of the rose bushes, and the subtle impression of his body carved into its cushions. He wasn't weak because of age. He was weak because his strength had nowhere to go. Every day he sat without moving, his muscles softened. His circulation slowed. His joints stiffened. And the body he once trusted? It started to forget how to move. Subscribe if you believe no senior should ever go unseen. Harold sat back in that very chair later that night and thought about the words Clara had left him with. Even the healthiest routines can become dangerous when they stay frozen. He realized he'd followed that routine out of habit, out of comfort, out of fear. Because getting up, moving more, it reminded him he used to be stronger. And that remembering that version of himself hurt. But now he saw something else. That strength wasn't gone. It was buried, dormant, waiting for permission to come back. He stood up, walked once around the living room. And when he sat back down, it was different. It wasn't giving in. It was choosing to rise again tomorrow. You know what's strange? Harold never thought of his chair as dangerous. After all, it was where he read his books, sipped his coffee, listened to the rain. It was comfort, familiarity, even safety. But Clara's words echoed louder each day. Even the healthiest routines can become dangerous when they stay frozen. So he started to notice things. How his body sighed when he stood, like a house creaking back to life. How his breath deepened with every short walk to the mailbox. How, for the first time in years, his reflection looked present. Not younger, not stronger, just awake. Because this wasn't really about sitting. It was about trusting a version of life that no longer fit. You see, Harold, like so many others, was loyal to a rhythm that made sense then. When he was 45, or 55, or even early into retirement. But life after 60 isn't just slower, It's different. And sometimes the body sends whispers before it screams. That chair had become a symbol, not of laziness but of forgotten needs. And there's something beautifully hard about letting go of a part of your life that once served you. But Harold did. Little by little. He started placing reminders around the house. A sticky note on the fridge, move first then eat. A small bell by the TV, every 30 minutes stand. And the best one? A Polaroid taped to the front door. A photo of his grandkids on the porch last summer. That one? It always got him moving. If this opens something in your heart, go ahead and comment. We read every one. You'd be surprised how many seniors across the country are going through the same quiet struggle. From Florida to Nebraska, from downtown condos to quiet ranch homes, it's not pain that holds us down most days, it's patterns. And patterns can be kind, until they become cages. Sometimes the smallest adjustments, putting music on while doing the dishes, stretching while waiting for the coffee to brew, standing during phone calls, can stir something powerful inside us. Something we thought had packed up and left long ago. But it hadn't. It was just waiting. Waiting for someone to remember that stillness is not the same as peace. Waiting for someone like Harold to prove that change doesn't have to be loud to be real. That healing doesn't always come in a pill bottle. It can come in a single, intentional step. Harold didn't wake up one day feeling brand new. No angels sang. No fireworks in the sky. But the small things started changing. He noticed his hands didn't tremble as much when he opened the peanut butter jar. He laughed more on the phone with his daughter. And the porch light, the one that used to stay off for days, was glowing again by 6 o'clock every evening, like it was expecting company. The chair is still there by the window. But now it's just a resting place, not a prison. And the strangest thing? Harold says he doesn't feel younger. He feels more like himself. He says, I thought the world had gotten quieter. Turns out, I just stopped moving with it. And maybe that's the secret no one tells us about aging. It's not about defying time or fighting every wrinkle. It's about refusing to disappear inside habits that make us smaller. So here's the truth, friend. If you've ever wondered where your energy went, if you've ever felt the slow fade, the shrinking days, the soft weight of stillness pulling you under, you're not broken. You're not lazy. You're just overdue for a different kind of movement. One that fits the you are now, not the person you used to be. If this story touched your spirit, give it a like. It helps others find stories that feel like their own. Because no one told Harold. No one said, this small habit might be stealing your spark. But now you know, and maybe that changes everything. And if you want more quiet truths that no one else will say out loud, if you want to feel seen in the ways that matter most, subscribe. We're building something real here, and there's room for you. Harold didn't get his strength back in one day. But the day he stopped trusting the habit that was draining him, that was the day he started coming back to life. And now the garden is blooming again. Not because he fought aging, but because he listened. He adjusted. He stood up. And maybe, just maybe, you can too. Because you're not fading. You're just getting ready to move differently.
Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It truly means a lot. If you found this video helpful or inspiring, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with a friend or loved one who might benefit. And leave a comment below. We love hearing your thoughts and experiences. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest tips and uplifting advice for living your best life at any age. Now, if you're ready for more wisdom and encouragement, just click the video that's on your screen right now. It's packed with even more insights made just for you. Take care, stay positive, and we'll see you in the next one.